Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Thomas. This is my YouTube channel, Mr. Raguy92. We got great NFL playoff football today. NFC matchups, the Seattle Seahawks at home as they welcome the New Orleans Saints. We have the San Francisco 49ers going to Carolina to face off against the Panthers. And then another matchup in the playoffs for the AFC tomorrow's games, which will be the Indianapolis Colts versus the New England Patriots and the San Diego Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. Now, I usually predict the playoffs at the start of the playoffs, but I wasn't able to get to my YouTube channel in time to do that, and the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round, is over. The San Diego Chargers beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Indianapolis Colts beat the Kansas City Chiefs. The New Orleans Saints beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And the San Francisco 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers. And that was pretty much how I saw it going, but I did expect the Bengals to beat the Chargers. And I did expect Indy to beat Kansas City, but not in the fashion that they did. Pretty wild and crazy game that was, for sure. And now we are moving on to the divisional round of the playoffs, which is one of the more exciting rounds. The winner of these games will face each other in the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship game. The first matchup that I want to give my prediction on is the Seattle Seahawks versus the New Orleans Saints. I think this is the most interesting one out of all the matchups for a variety of reasons. These teams have faced off before in the regular season, and it was a very one-sided affair with the Seahawks pretty much dominating the New Orleans Saints, holding Jimmy Graham to under 40 yards or under 50 yards, holding Darren Sproles to under 40 yards receiving, which was the only time that it happened all season long. Drew Brees had like 150 yards total passing. He looked very ordinary, which is very rare for a guy of his caliber. This Seattle Seahawks defense is no joke. They are elite. They are the number one defense in the NFL rankings-wise, and they really are. Against the pass, they are the best in the NFL. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, two stud corners. They have great safeties, and Earl Thomas from Texas. Very, very good linebackers. Bruce Irvin, when he was selected in the draft, many considered it a reach, but he's been a great player for the Seahawks. Their defense is just very big corners, 6'3", 6'2", guys that are 210, 215 pounds, which is a rarity. They have a lot of rare size at rare size at positions where the average guy is like 5'10". They have guys that are like 6'2", 6'3". So they have guys that have very long arms and very rangy players, and that's been something that has been a big asset to their team as the season has gone on. And at home, they are the most lethal team in the playoffs. No home crowd is as rowdy and as loud as the Seahawks. So I have to go with the Seahawks. I can't pick the Saints. But I do think it will be a closer matchup than the first regular season matchup. I think Drew Brees will play well, but I see the Seahawks winning that at home. I'm going to predict a score or two for each matchup, and the score for this one, I believe, will be 34-27 Seattle. Actually, 34-24 Seattle. And the next matchup, moving on, in the next matchup, I think we'll be very delighted with the next NFC matchup, which is the 49ers versus the Panthers. I'm going to start off with my pick. The 49ers, I believe, will win the game. I think that it'll be a very close game. Two really great defenses. You can't deny what Carolina has done this season. Winning home field advantage versus the Saints in that Saints game. They needed to win it, and they did. And it was a very close game, but they were able to pull away with it. I think that Carolina is definitely on the rise as far as their team. Cam Newton showed more promise this year than any other year. They have great running backs, but they do lack a big position on their offense, and I believe that that's the wide receiver position. Steve Smith is starting to get older. He was hurt week 16 in that divisional Saints and Panthers game. The winner of that game decided home field advantage in the playoffs eventually, and Panthers were able to come away with it. But Steve Smith is just getting up there in age. Brandon LaFell is a good number 3 wide receiver, I believe, but not a number 2 or a number 1 by any means necessary. And I believe that is their weakness, especially against a great San Francisco team who I thought should have won the Super Bowl last year. I don't see San Francisco losing this game, but I do see it once again, just like I said with the last matchup, I do see it once again being very, very close. Probably like a 24-16, 24-17 win for the San Francisco 49ers. Moving on to the AFC, we got 2 great matchups. The Denver Broncos versus the San Diego Chargers. San Diego has really been able to pick up some steam, winning last week against Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, they won like 4 of their last 5 weeks of the season, beating Kansas City in the last week of the season to get into the playoffs. Phillip Rivers has been really great this year under new head coach Mike McCoy, who was the former offensive coordinator for Denver when they had Peyton last year and when they had Tim Tebow. And he was able to do some great things with Tim Tebow that made Tebow look very good and propelled the team in the playoffs. He's been great as their new head coach, and San Diego, you can tell, has had a bit of a turnaround. Danny Woodhead has been amazing at running back for San Diego, but I think their luck is going to run out this week against Denver. Peyton Manning has just been on fire. He's broken 2 or 3 NFL records. Actually broke the single season touchdown record, which was 50, and he has 55. He broke the single season passing yards record, which was 5,400 something, and he broke it by a yard, which was held by Drew Brees. And he's on his way, which many people don't realize, he's on his way to breaking the all-time quarterback passing touchdowns record held by Brett Favre. He's about 18 touchdowns away. Favre is 508, and he is 490. So he's on his way to breaking that as well. And when it's all said and done, he's going to have the majority of the quarterback records when he retires. But that being said, I just think that Denver is too high-powered of an offense for San Diego's defense to keep up with. I think San Diego's offense is good, but Denver's defense is better than San Diego. I just think Denver is an all-around better team. And I think that's actually the easiest matchup for any team out of all these playoff matchups. I think Denver has the easiest road compared to anybody else. Even though San Diego did beat Denver once during the regular season, they split their divisional series. I see that being a close game again, but I see it being a close game for the majority of the game, but I see as the game goes on, Peyton will start to run away with it. And it's going to be a good game, but I see Denver winning that as well. Moving on to the last matchup, the final AFC matchup, the Indianapolis Colts versus the New England Patriots. This is a classic rivalry. I think the rivalry has lost steam, though, since Peyton Manning left the Colts to go to Denver. Or more like the Colts got rid of Peyton Manning and then he went to Denver. I think that the rivalry is still intact due to the history that each team has had. But Andrew Luck is not Peyton Manning, and the aura of a Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady matchup, there's none like it in the NFL. And I think that Brady has played admirably well, and I can make the argument right now that this might be his actually best season due to the fact that guys like Gronkowski, Amendola, the running backs, Ridley and Blunt, have been inconsistent all year long. Their offensive line has had problems. He's really had to lean heavily on guys like Aaron Dobson and Kembrell Tompkins, and last but not least, Julian Edelman, who has had 100 catches, finished the regular season with 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, and he has really leaned heavily on him throughout the season. Edelman has been a great clutch player for the offense. Then on the defensive side of the ball, you lose guys like Vince Wilfork and Gerard Mayo, and you're reeling really offensively and defensively as a team, and they're still able to get win the AFC East, which is not hard to do given the fact that there's Buffalo, the Jets, and Miami in the division, but get that first round bye, and then go against a team like Indy or Kansas City. Indy was down 38-10 last week against the Kansas City Chiefs in the third quarter. Pulled off a miraculous comeback, winning 45-44. They were able to run away with the game as the game went on, and it was at home in Indy. So once they started to score, they weren't going to stop because they had the home crowd giving them momentum. And I think that is going to be a huge difference maker for New England. I don't think that will make any difference at all, whether who's at home or who's not. Tom Brady plays well no matter what field he's on, and I see New England winning this one. I think Andrew Luck is actually going to play at probably one of the best games of his career, but I think Brady might end up actually leading a comeback again in this game. New England could be down late, and I could see Brady leading a comeback for New England to push them into the next round against Denver. And I think that if my predictions are right, the NFC Championship would be Seattle versus San Francisco and Denver versus New England. Those could be two of the best games in a long, long time between two matchups between two teams that are so evenly matched. And I predicted at the start of the season that it could be Seattle and Denver, but with those two matchups, anything can happen. Any pairing of those four teams would be a great Super Bowl. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think it'll be Seattle versus the Saints. I see New England beating the Colts 34-31. I see the Broncos beating the Chargers probably 35-27. I see the Panthers and Carolina game being like 24-20, San Francisco, and I listed my scoring prediction for the Saints and Panthers game, or Saints and Seahawks game, but I think that will be probably 28-20. Actually, I would say 31-24. Seattle. I think that's more likely to happen. But yeah, I'd like to get a topic of discussion. Get comments rolling on it. I think that these playoff matchups are going to be great. I think that this NFL season has been very exciting, and I'm really excited to see what happens today. Let me know what you think of my predictions. Let me know who's your team, and we can talk NFL football. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.